Last month at Port Canaveral, I watched a 68-year-old woman get denied boarding for her dream cruise. She paid $8,000 for the cruise. Flights were booked, hotels were reserved, and she was standing at the terminal with her luggage ready to go. So what was the problem? She didn't have the required medical documentation for her mobility scooter. The cruise line's new 2026 policy requires a doctor's letter confirming fitness to travel for anyone using mobility assistance devices. She didn't know about it, so she got turned away at the gangway. $8,000 gone, because she didn't know about one new rule. This isn't an isolated incident. Cruisers over 60 are facing new medical documentation requirements, fitness assessments, travel insurance mandates, and accessibility protocols that are causing boarding denials all across the industry. Hi, I'm Eric from Empty Nester Cruising. In the next couple of minutes, I'm going to reveal 6 new rules that every senior cruiser must know to avoid being denied boarding. So let's get ahead and dive in. So why did cruise lines implement senior-specific rules for 2026? Well, there's 3 major factors. 1, medical emergency costs skyrocketed. In 24 and 2025, cruise lines spent over $50 million on medical evacuations, with 68% of them involving passengers over 60. When someone has a heart attack or a stroke at sea, a helicopter evacuation costs somewhere between $25,000 and $100,000. Cruise lines are now requiring documentation to assess risk before allowing you to board. Factor 2, liability lawsuits. Families sue cruise members. Families sued cruise lines when elderly passengers with undisclosed medical conditions had emergencies on board. Courts ruled that cruise lines have a duty to screen for high-risk passengers. The new documentation requirements are legal protection. And factor number 3, ship medical facilities, they're limited. Cruise ship doctors can handle minor issues, but they're not equipped for serious cardiac events, strokes, or complex medical needs. If you have a serious condition that requires specialized care, cruise lines need to know about it before you board. So what does this mean for you? If you're over 60, you now face additional scrutiny during the booking and embarkation process. But here's the good news. If you know the rules and prepare properly, you'll sail through embarkation without any issues. Robert, 72. He had a knee replacement surgery 4 months before his Mediterranean cruise. He was walking fine, felt great, and didn't think he needed documentation. At embarkation, the cruise line saw his pre-cruise medical questionnaire mentioned recent surgery. They required a fitness to travel letter. He didn't have one. He had to go find an urgent care clinic near the port, wait 3 hours, pay $200 for the visit, and get the letter. He barely made it back before the ship departed. All of this stress could have been avoided if he'd known about that requirement. My advice, if any of those 5 triggers apply to you, schedule a doctor's appointment 60 days before your cruise. Get a fitness to travel letter then. Bring 2 copies, one for your carry-on and one for your checked luggage. Upload a digital copy to your phone. This documentation is your boarding pass insurance. Next rule, if you're over 65 and booking adventure excursions, you may need to pass a fitness assessment before participation. This is brand new for 2026 and catches people off guard. Activities that trigger these assessments: zip lining, rock climbing or rappelling, scuba diving or snorkeling in rough conditions, hiking rated moderate or strenuous, kayaking, paddleboarding, or water sports, helicopter tours or small aircraft excursions, any activity with a physical exertion or elevation changes. So a lot of things. So what's the assessment process? When you book these activities, you'll receive a medical questionnaire asking about your cardiovascular health, your respiratory health, mobility and balance, current medications that affect physical performance, recent medical events, and then based on your answers, the cruise line may require a doctor's clearance letter specifically for that activity, an onboard fitness assessment with the ship's medical staff, and yes, they're going to charge you $50 to $100 for that. They're going to need you to sign additional liability waivers, and in some cases, they may deny participation entirely. Some cruise lines now require seniors over 70 to have travel insurance with minimum medical coverage of $50,000. This is pretty controversial new rule because it adds somewhere between $200 and $500 to the cost of the cruise. But here's why it exists. Why cruise lines require this. If you have a medical emergency at sea and need evacuation, someone's got to pay for it. If you don't have insurance, the cruise line pays up front and then tries to collect from you later. Many seniors can't or won't pay $50,000 to $100,000 for an emergency evacuation. By requiring insurance, the cruise line ensures someone will cover these costs. Now, which cruise lines require this? As of 2026, these cruise lines have mandatory insurance for seniors. Viking Ocean Cruises, required for all passengers 70 plus with a minimum of $50,000 medical coverage. Oceania Cruises, required for passengers 75 or older, minimum of $100,000 medical coverage. Regent Seven Seas, required for passengers over 70 on voyages over 14 days. And there are also some river cruise lines that require all passengers 65 plus on European river cruises to get insurance. They require emergency medical evacuation with a minimum of $250,000 of coverage. Trip interruption insurance covers the cost of rejoining the cruise if you're evacuated. Repatriation covers the cost of transporting you home if you're hospitalized in a foreign country. So let's talk about some costs. For a 70-year-old couple on a 10-day Mediterranean cruise costing $6,000, basic travel insurance is $300 to $400. Comprehensive with medical is $450 to $600. Premium with pre-existing condition coverage is $700 to $900. Critical mistake you want to avoid: buying the cheapest insurance without checking the medical coverage limits. I've seen policies that only cover $10,000 in medical expenses. That won't even cover one night in a foreign hospital. Read the details of the policy carefully. Now, my recommendation, even if your cruise line doesn't require insurance, buy it anyway. I always recommend decent travel insurance. And I'm not talking cut rate, $20. Oh yeah, you're covered. No. Let's talk about a good policy. Yes, it's going to cost you $200, $300, $500. Going over some of the numbers I've gone over in this video, do you think it's worth it? That one medical emergency could cost 10 times more than the cruise. It's worth the peace of mind if nothing else. If you have pre-existing conditions, heart disease, diabetes, or a cancer history, buy insurance within 14 days of making your initial cruise deposit. Most policies waive pre-existing condition exclusions if you buy it early. If you wait too long, and your conditions won't be covered. Next rule: accessibility accommodations now require 90 days notice and medical documentation, and some requests may be denied if the ship can't safely accommodate them. In the old system, you could request wheelchair accessible cabins, mobility assistance, or special equipment at any time before the cruise, even at embarkation. Now, here in 2026, all accessibility requests must be submitted 90 days prior to sailing with supporting medical documentation. The cruise line reviews each request and may approve, modify, or deny based on the ship's capabilities. Accommodations that require advance notice: wheelchair accessible staterooms, shower chairs or bath benches, refrigeration for medications, oxygen or respiratory equipment, dialysis arrangement at ports, service animals, dietary restrictions due to medical conditions, mobility assistance during embarkation or disembarkation. Now, what kind of documentation do you need? For mobility devices, you need a doctor's letter explaining your condition and your mobility limitations. For medical equipment, you need the specifications, the power requirements, and usage instructions. For service animals, you need training certification and vaccination records. For dietary needs, you need a doctor's letter confirming the medical necessity, not just preference. Now, why these requests might be denied: a ship doesn't have wheelchair accessible cabins available. Medical equipment exceeds the ship's electrical capacity. Oxygen concentrator doesn't meet safety specifications. The service animal doesn't meet the cruise line requirements. Dialysis can't be arranged in specific ports. Rule number 5, all prescription medications must be in original containers with pharmacy labels, and you need a doctor's letter listing all the medications if you're bringing more than a 30-day supply. This rule has always existed, but they're starting to really enforce it after several incidents over the last year or two with medication smuggling. What you must do: keep the medications in the original containers. Don't transfer them to the weekly pill organizer. Customs and ship security need to see the pharmacy label with your name, medication name, dosage, and the prescribing doctor. Bring a list from your doc, which should include the medication name, both the generic and the brand, dosage and frequency, prescribing doctor's name and contact info, the reason for the medication, the doctor's signature, and the date. Pack your medications in your carry-on. Never put your prescription medications in your checked luggage. Bring an extra supply. Packed about 25% more than you need for the cruise length. That way, if the ship is delayed for whatever reasons, you don't run out. Declare any controlled substances. If you take any controlled substances like pain medications, anxiety medications, sleep aids, things like that, declare them during your online check-in and at ship security. My friend Thomas, who's 71, he takes 8 different medications daily. He transferred them all to a weekly pill organizer to save space. At ship security, they asked him to identify each pill. He couldn't remember which was which without the labels. Security held him for 45 minutes while they verified each medication against his medical records. His wife was going nuts. He almost missed the sail-away party, all because he didn't keep the medications in their original containers. So here's your action plan starting today. If you're over 60 and have a cruise booked for 2026, schedule a doctor's appointment within the next couple of weeks. Get your fitness and travel letter, medication list, and any activity clearances you need. Do it now, not 30 days before. Next, review your cruise line's medical and accessibility policies. Every cruise line is different. What I've shared are general industry standards, but your specific cruise line may have additional requirements. Spend 20 minutes on their website. Figure it out. Next, if you use any mobility devices or medical equipment, verify specifications against the cruise line limits. Check battery watt hours, dimensions, and power requirements. If anything exceeds limits, contact the cruise line now to discuss alternatives. Next, purchase travel insurance even if it's not required. One medical emergency will cost more than 20 years of travel insurance premiums. Protect yourself. So here's the bottom line. The new 2026 rules for senior cruisers are stricter, more detailed, and more strictly enforced than ever before. But they're not designed to keep you off cruises. They're designed to keep you safe and ensure cruise lines can handle medical situations appropriately. If you follow the rules I've outlined and complete the action steps, you will not be denied boarding. You will not face delays at embarkation. You will not have the stress and frustration that unprepared passengers experience. Now, you've completed my entire 2026 Cruise Rules series for empty nesters. If this series helped you at all, I need you to do 3 things. 1, subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell. I post new cruise tips, tricks, and hacks every week, specifically for empty nesters. Don't miss out on future updates. 2nd, give this video and the entire series a thumbs up. It helps other empty nesters find this critical information before they make expensive mistakes. 3rd, share this series with your cruise buddies, your travel group, your Facebook friends, anyone who's planning a 2026 cruise. The more people who know these rules, the fewer boarding denials we're going to see. Finally, drop a comment below and tell me which of the 6 new rules surprised you the most. Thanks for watching the entire series. I'm Eric from Empty Nester Cruising, and I'll see you on the high seas. Happy cruising.